military uniforms that Vineland owns. So right now I'm working on a group of World War I uniforms that belong to Dr. Maurice Falkland, who lived in Vineland, and a couple others. So from the First World War. There are also a few things from the Second World War and some earlier things. This is a New York State militia jacket from right after the Civil War. And for some reason it was trimmed in the sleeve. Someone for a quilt or something salvaged some little pieces of gray wool from it. But it's still a beautiful jacket and great buttons.
You're downstairs with the hats. Here's a hat, clearly. And we're just going through and inventorying them, taking stock of their condition, their description, possible date range, things like that, giving them numbers.
All these little numbers can get confusing, so just making sure we did everything correctly so there's not any confusion about what numbers belong to which objects right now. And then we'll be cleaning them later, so we're gonna go through and clean them, stuff them so they keep their form, and then rehouse them. So you can see this one's a little bit, kind of got its shape deflated over time, so.
So here at Vineland we have found a lot of children's clothing. Some of it is labeled so we know exactly when it was worn. This is a lovely printed cotton, 1850s to 1860s. And here, for example, we have some baby caps labeled as being from Miss Mary Allen. These are probably mid-19th century or so, handmade and used in the family. And we have a whole pile of other children's clothing here. Here's another little 19th century cotton baby's shirt. So I would definitely say from assessing the collections here, one of the strengths is in the children's clothing, which is not very common.
Well, we've been going piece by piece through the room, describing each object that we find, giving it an accession number and an object ID number, marking it with the unique number, and then measuring it and photographing it and filling out a blue sheet for it. And these sheets, all this information will be put into Past Perfect so that the Vineland Historical Society has a paper copy of what they own and the Past Perfect information in there.
Okay. So this is what you would do though. You would hit insert image, and this is what will pop up, and you're going to acquire a new image from the file folder it will contain. And then, so what we've done is we've gone through and renamed them with their accession number.
Okay.
So the easiest way to do it is to view it that way.
Okay.
And there are some with multiple images, and you can just put in multiple. So we're looking for 2003-025. 0012, which I don't think so.
I was adding lighting devices, which is 1999.
Yeah, that's fine. Would you like your book back?
An accession
All
log.
right, inventory log.
Inventory log.
This one is for
Objects.
inside the
Andrew's room. And for any other object they choose to inventory accession in the future.
This one is for mostly costume and some miscellaneous textiles. And for every object in both binders, we gave objects numbers, we identified them, we cataloged them, we measured them, we assessed their condition. We did a little bit of research if we needed assistance dating them, so we dated everything. And we also photographed them and stored them away.
And we are currently putting them in Past Perfect, and everything in this log has been put into Past Perfect with its image connected to it.
So if you look on this shelf right here, we've set up a thing where we put pieces of paper in each book kind of indicating whether they should keep it or not. So green is keep, and that usually is because it's related to somebody in Vineland. They owned it, or they wrote it, or something like that. Yellow is, well, it could be relevant, but we're not really sure. And then red is, this has nothing to do with Vineland, New Jersey, so get rid of it.
It's kind of a maze of books up here, and so we have to kind of keep on top of it and make sure that we're not backtracking all the time.
Right now, we're working through their massive book collection to try to give them a sense of what they have, what they can thin out so they have better storage, and what they really need to prioritize. So we found some manuscripts in here that are being moved to a different space so that they can be treated properly. We have some books that we can thin out that aren't relevant to their collection and can be rehoused in another institution or elsewhere. And then we have books that will be relevant to research that once everything is sorted through, can be rehoused properly to make for better access. So what we're providing them is a understanding of their collection and where they can best focus their energies in the future.
We are creating spreadsheets of all the books in here. So we're going through each book, writing down the author, the title, the publication date, and noting if there's any inscription or any property of.
We are repurposing some old shelves that were taken out of the book storage room, and we are using the side walls of the shelving units to make deeper shelves for the existing bookshelves that are up there for some closed storage. So we are recycling wood and adding storage space.
We are cleaning off the buttons. We found all these boxes of buttons upstairs, and they have this backing on it, which is deteriorating to the point that it's actually deteriorating some of the buttons themselves. So we're cleaning off the backing, and we're vacuuming them, and we're going to rehouse them in some better storage, and it'll be a project later on for one of the volunteers to catalog them later on.